It's 9:45. I'm TK and this is Coach on the Rocks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Give me a shout, give me a comment or a like. And hopefully you're having a wonderful day or you're starting one. So recently, I've read an interesting article by a fellow coach, Luis Velasquez, about the distractors in meetings. And I wanted to talk about that because whether we want it or not, meetings are an important part of any leader's work. And if you work in L&D or you help leaders grow, you can't really get away from the fact that leaders will do a lot of their work in meetings. And the way the meetings are being held and the way they are effective basically plays a crucial role in the effectiveness of leaders themselves. So Lewis talks about many distractors. I'm going to give you a perspective on a few and how to deal with them. I think one of the biggest one he mentions is a gravity topic. That's what he calls, which is something big that emerges during the meeting that can derail it from its original agenda. I think it happens more often than not, sadly. And it's an interesting one. When it comes to something that just emerges and it feels like it requires immediate attention. Now, the role of the chair or the leader, if he or she is leading the meeting, is to make sure to give it enough time and attention that this particular topic warrants, but to find the right moment to park it and move it to a separate conversation or have actions to get it moving forward, and then responsible people, if they're not responsible in terms of the chair of the meeting for doing this, having another person delegated to do that. Now, it's a difficult one. I have seen people being really hurt by someone saying, "Oh, let's just put a pin in it." If there's someone on the meeting, someone in the room or in the virtual space that really cares about this issue and thinks that this is not resolved. I think what's really important is to make sure that it gets normalized. And we say, look, right, in this moment of time, we need to move on with our agenda, but we recognize this is an important topic and let's do these and these actions. And look or ask the people that are most invested in it if they're okay with that. Just to make sure that, the right decision is being made. I don't mean a democracy per se, but making sure that people don't feel like we've brushed it aside. Sometimes it might be something really important. Sometimes it might be incredibly important for them specifically. So let's not neglect that. Now, one thing that Lewis doesn't really mention is something that I find really challenging in meetings I'm leading, and something that we help our leaders talk about, which is people that don't necessarily believe in well-held, timely meetings, and they basically hijack a meeting, derailing the agenda. Not the topic, but a person or a few that actually do not like meetings being held in a snappy way, in a way that conversation moves on. They prefer to deliberate. They prefer to have the time to actually speak and, making sure that there's enough time spent on a topic. I remember I worked with such a person, and it wasn't easy for any of us. Just because, the person hated the way I've been running meetings, and I just thought, well, it was very difficult for me to be in his meetings. And it's okay to admit that there's opposite ways of doing things. I could say that each topic can have its own suitable style, horses for courses. But I think it has to be recognized that we all have our preferences. And just accept it. Possibly, if there's two extremes, it might be too extreme for most of people. But on the other hand, not recognizing this fact and being surprised that someone else likes a different style is not helpful. Not helpful at all. So make sure to understand what is the mindset and preference of people in your meetings. And also, as always, reflect on your own preferences to make sure that everyone knows what is the style of meeting you're running and what to expect. Because if a person comes to a given meeting and recognizes you as a chair and owner of the meeting, at least they'll know what to expect. They might not like it, but it's going to be a lot better if they actually know what to expect. They'll just live with it. Do unto others as you wish unto yourself, as always, right? But that's really helpful. Reflect on the style you like, because this is probably the style you'll be most effective with. The big question is, what about the styles of people around you? Is it also effective for them? That's a question I'll leave you with until we meet again tomorrow for the next episode of Coach on Drugs. With that, have a nice one. Bye bye.